Jim Iyke talks about his new series, Sin.
What is going on in my life?
Veteran Nollywood actor Jim Iyke, in a chat with Hip TV, talks about his new series in the works. He says,
the reason we created Sin was because we wanted to have a certain conversation about the drug situation. There's an advocacy behind it about the drug situation in Africa. I'm not talking about the world. I mean, in Africa, it's swept under the rug. Usually, we feel that it's not a strong case to be made generally with the right authorities, or it's not a personal problem. But the propensity grows every day. The propensity for drug use, the propensity for its abuse, for substance abuse. We all know, either directly or indirectly, a relative, a friend, or somebody we're closely connected with that has a drug problem. So, what is the genesis of it? How does this trade thrive? How can we have a conversation about the widely held conspiracy theory that drug money, drug trade, in essence, fuels the economy of the world? How does it impact us directly? Even if we believe, if we're oblivious to the fact that it does not concern us, how can we navigate these waters given a situation that we're involved with it directly? So it's a wide area and wide range of conversation to be held, and I think Sin leans, if for nothing, a certain perspective about it.
He further went on to talk about what he looks out for when choosing his cast for a project.
My casting process is driven basically by instincts. There's a certain comprehensiveness about it. It stems from 20 years in the business. It stems from instincts that I've developed that's unmatched. It stems from the storyline that I study in-depthly. I'm always involved in the creative and writing processes of every film that I fund, because it helps me, gives me credence to argue a case, to make a case, to understand my case. All through the tiers of its creative process. And so when I cast talents that understands evidently the fine line between craftsmanship, which is what is widely practiced in the industry, and the art, the form of art, which is rarely practiced. So there's a difference. Craftsmanship, everybody stays with a certain confines, stays with the theoretical and the knowledge that's been gained, or the assurance of their gift and their talents. But when acting becomes an art, is a total absence of yourself, of the human element that is you. When you portray a role, when you convey a message through your role. And so to convince an audience, one must go beyond the craftsmanship to the art. And so any actor that knows how to convey that message across to the audience works with me.
Speaking on actors that are stereotyped in Nollywood, Jimmy says he has suffered his own fair share of being stereotyped.
When you're consistently casted in a certain role, it creates a certain tunnel vision, a certain linear approach to acting that you become known for. And every time you go outside that circle, you're judged very harshly. People don't give you credit for the effort. But when you get involved and when you start your career with a wide array of characters, it gives you a certain leverage as well of the many accolades that I've won that sits on my mantle right now are roles that were totally opposite of the typical that I've mostly casted for, because those were the ones that were totally outside my human element, my nature, that I had to bring my acting chops and really prepare for. So yes, stereotype casting can be far more a disservice than a service on the long run, because I've always deemed this profession more like a marathon rather than a sprint. And nothing, trust me, nothing molds what prepares you for a sprint more than typecasting.
Finally, he made a bold claim about the actors in his generation, stating that back then it was generic and they had to work very hard.
Our generation came through the fire, the storm, the blood, the sweat, and the tears. Anybody can be an overnight success by social media these days, and if you have any decent acting skills, you can be a superstar in no time. It's not to knock the hustle or the opportunities that avails itself. I'm just saying that I came from a different time where you had to piss for it, fight for it, claw for it, your way up for it. Break yourself for it, remote yourself, unlearn yourself for it, learn a different self for it, impress people that are in the know and impress people that are not in the know. You understand? So we had to deal with all kinds of pressure that is totally not prevalent in these days. I'm all for the new cadre of people that are here now. I just state it in black and white as it is. Some of them are really breaking their backs to understand how to do this business properly, how to get their acting chops, understand that it's about what you put in. Your input totally dictates your output. It's not a watered down process, a shortcut where at the end of the day you begin to question the process. The process is important. The sweat, tears, blood, it's important because that's what forges character. And a lot of people don't have character these days, because of the modus operandi and the structure of how it's built. So, yeah, people from the old are not necessarily better gifted than the new. They just went through it with so much more challenges that it forged a different character, it forged a different will, a different cadre of actors. And then guys that are present in the day now that pretty much in a sense compared to the old days got it handed down on a platter of gold. So there's conversation to be had there. There's also love to be given there, and accolades to be given across both divide. Some of them are caught between both worlds. Those are the special ones. They understand what it took to make it in our time, and they also understand the opportunity that's inherent in their day now. So they merge those two worlds and they've become better for it.
When they tryna hold me, I go zoom, zoom, zoom.